In life, we encounter people every day, all of whom have stories to share. We rarely take the time to ask people their personal stories, many of which will touch, move, and inspire us in some way. Matt has a passion for making authentic connections and learning about people from all walks of life. He has lived a life of giving back to the community and making a difference in people's lives. Are you ready to meet fascinating people and hear some inspiring stories? The Matt Hilton Show will introduce you to a world of possibilities you never knew existed. Sit back, be present, and enjoy. Here's your host, Matt Hilton.
Hey everyone, Matt Hilton here, the host of the Matt Hilton Show. Thanks for tuning in. Today you're going to hear the second part of Jesse Ostler's story. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this episode. Now for a word from our sponsor.
Inspired, experienced, customer-focused. Find a mortgage that fits your needs with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage, specializing in construction and closing all types of loans, including jumbo, portfolio, conventional, FHA, and VA. A tenured team, outstanding service, competitive programs. Finance your dreams with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage. mleach.firstunitedteam.com, 214-316-7915. mleach@firstunitedbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
So let's talk about, what do you do for work? Let's start there. What is your current profession?
I'm currently I guess you would call me an independent designer for solar.
Okay.
So I do, I meet with homeowners, I meet with people, and find out, first of all, I'm looking to determine if they're a good candidate for any of the existing solar programs that are out there. There's a lot of money out there that's being thrown at solar right now. Mm-hmm. It's not a good fit for everybody. So I look to see who is going to be a good fit for some of these programs, and then I'm looking to see if the programs are going to be a good fit for them, if they're actually going to save money with the programs, long term, if they can increase the value of their house, make their house more energy efficient, and it doesn't cost them anything more than what they're already spending. That's a pretty good deal. Mm-hmm. And trying to just like fit people and match them to the right project and the right program. And then finding the right company that's going to do that install work that they want done or that they need done. Educating the person on what needs to be done or what can be done, and then helping them apply for it if that's what they want.
Okay. So your company, does it do installations, or I just heard you say find the right company to install what they need?
As an independent designer, I don't work for one company. Okay. I have multiple companies that I source, depending on the needs of the person. And I've been doing this almost a decade, mm-hmm. So it makes sense not to be handcuffed to one company, one installer, one product.
Right.
Instead, I can choose what's going to be a good match for the customer.
And that in and of itself, the solar product has evolved over the last decade, right?
Tremendously.
Yeah.
It's a whole different game than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. So what are a few benefits of solar for some homeowners that may be watching or listening today?
Well, the number one reason people do solar is to gain control or take back control over crazy costs, inflation, price of eggs. Like, if you had your own chickens, you wouldn't be too concerned about what happens to the price of eggs. And it turns out you can buy some chickens for the same price of eggs, and just your price of eggs never goes up. You just pay on the chickens, mm-hmm. right? And you get the eggs for free because they come out of the chicken's butt. Mm-hmm.
So solar panels are...
I don't think that's the right analogy.
Well, it's okay. We'll leave it. Okay. So the solar panels are the chickens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the energy that they produce are the eggs.
Yeah.
Am I understanding that right?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can either just pay cash for your chickens, right? But the chickens aren't cheap. Mm-hmm. But the good news is that the chickens stay with the house. So when you sell your home, all the equity in your chickens goes to the next buyer. All transfers.
Sure.
So it increases the value of your house.
Yeah. And the panels can be leased or bought outright.
Yeah, if you don't want to, sometimes it makes more sense to have, there are programs where the utility will actually invest in the house. They'll pay for the entire system. They pay for the panels, the maintenance, the insurance, all that stuff. And all you do is lease the power that comes out of the panels, right? It's like switching electric companies. Instead of them building a new power plant 100 miles away and charging you to ship, not only charging you for the power plant, but charging you to ship the power to you, you let them use your roof. And because you let them use your roof, they're contractually obligated to give you power at the same rate tomorrow as they charge you today.
Okay.
They can't change it.
The cost of eggs it doesn't matter.
You stopped inflation completely.
Right.
Right. And then if you're someone who pays a lot of money in taxes, that's when you want to do a loan. That's when you want to buy the system, because there are tax benefits for being an owner of a power plant. That's why they want to put one on your roof for free, because they get all the tax benefits. But if you pay enough money in taxes, why don't you be the power company? Right?
Yep.
If you don't pay a lot, if you're retired, fixed income, low budget, don't own the system. You're not going to get the full benefit from the taxes.
So why solar? Why did you choose solar as an industry to enter into?
I didn't.
It chose you?
Yeah. Yeah, I needed a job. I called my buddy Dennis years before I did Landmark. And I said, hey, you owe me a favor. I got you a job at AAA. I need you to get me a job. I said, well, first I said, how do you like solar? He goes, oh, I love it. It's the future. I said, cool. Get me a job. He goes, all right. Call Josh. So I called Josh and I got a job.
Cool.
Yeah. Just been doing it since. It's tough to leave. It's like the easiest, most difficult job you will ever have. Like, it's such an easy job when people get it. Like, people get it. But that education standpoint and getting a person to the point where they're ready to actually make a change, it's so much easier for them just to stick with the grid, because they're already doing it. Could be wrong is wrong, but it's a lot easier to stay with what you're doing than try to get out of it.
Can't you apply that to so many aspects of life?
Golly. Oh, I like eating bacon because I've always ate bacon. You know what I mean?
Or I'm going to stick with this, going back to the religious topic that we had from the last show, right? I'm going to stick with this religion because it's all I've known.
Yeah.
This religious belief, right?
Yeah, this whole fundamental system.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Human beings hate change, which is absurd. Everything in life changes.
It does.
Show me one thing that doesn't, even if it doesn't change, it still gets old. And it changes.
Because it's matter.
Because it's made out of matter. And nothing matters.
Exactly. Yeah. That's Landmark. Yeah.
No, everything matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I want to get into you. So what is something about you that you love?
Oh. I like that I'm tall.
What does that do for you?
It opens doors.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
You like that you're tall.
I do like that I'm tall.
The question was, what do you love about Jesse?
What do I love about Jesse? It's a good question. I feel like I should have better answers.
There's no right or wrong.
I'm a funny motherfucker, usually. And I like that, I'm going back to like, what do I love though? I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a good heart, I've got a good soul. I care a lot about people.
Okay.
Do anything for anybody else.
Right. Yeah, those are good qualities to have for sure.
Yeah. And when I get into something I like, I'm really passionate about it.
Okay.
I'll pursue it till the end of the earth. So.
Sounds like you have some loyalty there too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I didn't think about that, but yeah, definitely have loyalty. Yeah. Yeah, go figure. That's some programming too, I think. I mean, I like it, but yeah.
So go into that a little more with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, programming's not bad. You can't get out of it, because if you unprogram something, you're just going to program the next thing anyways. Right? So
And you're probably going to take a little bit of that you were programmed with before and add it into the new programming, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you can't, you don't ever wipe a computer clean. You just upgrade it. You know? So that loyalty that I had as a child then moves into different types of loyalty as I get older. Periods of time when I'm not loyal, and then realize that I value loyalty more and go back to you're pursuing a life of that. Yeah, I think actually loyalty is really important to me. I didn't even realize that. It's cool.
Okay. As far as a person in your life that has inspired and maybe even motivated you, who you've respected, who comes to mind and why?
My Uncle Clyde comes to mind. And my grandfather. Not his father, my mom's grandfather.
Okay.
And my own dad. These are all men that are leaders of men, and that, like, when my dad and my grandpa died, it's my uncle's brother, is my dad. Like, there were 400 people, 450 people at my dad's memorial service. There were 250 people at my grandpa's memorial service, and men made a point, and women made a point to come up to me and say, "Hey, you know, your grandfather or your father permanently altered my life. I wouldn't have what I have if it wasn't for them. They changed the way that I think." And my uncle's still alive, thank God. I know when that day comes, there will be 1,000 people at his, memorial service, and they will be saying the same thing, that he permanently altered their entire life, their entire existence.
So do you have a sense of how these men altered others' lives? Like what were some qualities or what are some qualities of these men that you have seen them emulate?
All three of them are playfully serious. So that's one thing. Playfully serious is one. People come to you with their problems, and it's not a problem for you, right? And you're there, and then you're there for them with their problem, so you can then get serious and help them with their problem, right? What other qualities?
On that, it sounds like they're great listeners.
Yeah, listening is key. All three of them, the opposite of me, they listened way more than they talked.
You don't talk much, Jesse.
Bullshit. Yeah, they listened way more than they spoke.
Okay.
And when they said things, it carried weight.
Yeah. So I haven't asked this question of a guest before, but I feel like I need to, or want to.
Cool.
When you leave this earth, what do you want people to say about you?
Dang. Well, there's a difference between what would they say and what do I want them to say.
Well, what do you want them to say?
If I got a fraction of what they said about my father and my grandpa, that'd be awesome. I figure they'll probably say, "Oh, he was a really good guy." What do I want them to say? Same thing. He inspired me. He changed my life. He made, I don't know, call it a savior complex or something, but he really made a difference for me.
Made a difference. Made an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about the two dates of when you're born and when you die, right? It's about the dash in between. So what are we going to do each day to make our dash mean something?
Yeah. Yeah. What, and that really comes down to just choosing who you're going to be that day. Because you can be anything at any time. And the problem is, for the most of the time, we're just not aware of who we are being. And if we were, we'd probably be appalled.
And we don't have to wait until January 1st of every year
No.
to change whatever we want to change, right?
Yeah.
I think that's so funny that people wait until January 1 of every year to make these resolutions and, new year, new me, right?
Yeah, I stopped doing resolutions. I do New Year's intentions. And this year's New Year's intention is to increase my conscious contact with my unconscious mind.
Say that again and tell me more about that.
Yeah, to increase my conscious contact with my unconscious mind. The conscious mind is one of those things, again, that like maybe doesn't even exist in our brain. Right? Like, where is it? They can't really find consciousness. They can destroy parts of your brain and you're still conscious. Like the mind itself is a little bigger than your body. Maybe a lot bigger than your body. A race car driver can be driving a race car. Well, first of all, when you're a little kid, you're walking around, you stub your toe because you don't know where your toe is. Because it's changing, it's growing. Your body's growing and you keep stubbing your toe. I used to break toenails off all the time. I haven't stubbed my toe even on a coffee table in quite a while. God.
Yeah, knock on some wood.
Right? Because my conscious mind has expanded to the diameter of my body and maybe out past it. Well, a race car driver's conscious mind extends to within a quarter inch of his bumper. He knows exactly where he is in physical space and time and location of the car that's driving in front of him. So the conscious mind is bigger than you, right? The unconscious mind, I believe, would be the neuronal pathways, the hard wiring, the physicalness of you, and would probably include your entire physical body. People carry stress in the middle of their back. Why? Because that's where they're carrying the memories of whatever it is that's stressing them out. Your body's like a CD disk or a hard drive that you're storing what is happening in your life. And anything from your past that's incomplete is going to sit there find a physical location in your body, and your body's going to hang on to it like a memory. And then you let go of that, and your whole body changes, right? Yep. So for me, increase in your experience of life changes. Immediately, you're happier, lighter, freer, right? So increasing conscious contact with my unconscious mind, probably going to involve some yoga, probably going to involve some breathing meditation. The sensation in your gut when you're about to make a business decision. What is that sensation telling me? What is this? What am I avoiding? What am I ignoring? Whatever it is that your body is trying to send you, your unconscious mind is trying to send you a message of what it is that your conscious mind should be focused on right now that it's not paying attention to. Or that you need to deal with consciously and then let go of. Right? So, something like that. I think that success will be it'll change business, it'll change relationships.
Yeah.
Imagine if every human being walked around listening to their gut all the time, but did it in not a reactionary way, but a curious, inquisitive way. If every human being you interacted with was checking in with their higher self or with God or whatever you want to call it, right? In their unconscious mind.
Reminds me of what I heard recently as far as staying with your feelings. It's okay to stay with your feelings. It's okay to stay with your anger for a while. It's okay to stay with your, whatever that negative feeling may be, right? Maybe your grief. But then you've got to be able to release that and not stay in it. And I think that has something to do with emotional intelligence, right?
Right.
Some people aren't emotionally intelligent enough to do that.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, their body would tell them if they're not being.
Of course.
Yeah. The body is going to hold on to the grief. Yeah, if you stay with grief for about 20 minutes, no matter how severe the grief is, there's a difference between staying with and dwelling in.
Yes.
If you're dwelling in your grief, it will last for days. No matter how horrible whatever it is happened to you, if you stay with it but don't dwell in it, within 20 minutes, the body sensations will start to go away. Every time. If they don't, within 10 to 20, as fast as 10 minutes to 20 minutes, doesn't matter how severe the grief is, your body sensations will change if you stay with it, but not dwell on it or dwell in it.
Right. Yeah.
Same with anger.
Mm-hmm.
Same with happiness, excitement. You know, they're all temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And from a scientific method, that's because the chemicals that your brain released that cause those body sensations have worn off. Serotonin, norepinephrine, whatever it is, it's already changed in 20 minutes. Your brain has processed it. Your neurons have already processed it out. The chemicals are now different than they were. The slurry of chemicals that's in your brain and body have changed. And now your emotions have changed. So how real are our emotions? Just slurries of chemicals in your brain, in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird.
So what is something that, if you had two questions, and then we'll get to we'll wrap this episode up. What is something that you have done that if you had to do it over again, you wouldn't do it?
One girlfriend in particular, I would not have cheated on her. And at the time, I thought that's what everybody did. So I don't hold it against myself.
Yeah.
But afterwards, but then again, maybe not, because that's how I really discovered loyalty. Because afterwards I decided I was going to be loyal because I didn't like the outcome of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I might not have a connection with loyalty that I do now. That would have to assume that I would have had this connection with loyalty before.
Right. Okay.
And by the way, I'm on board with ethical non-monogamy. So loyalty is not something that's just like, confined to certain situations. There's still loyalty in that too.
That's something we can say for another episode. What would you tell your 8.5-year-old self?
Oh, man.
Knowing what you know now.
Yeah.
What would you tell that little boy?
I would probably call him son. I don't have any kids, but at this point, be like, listen here, son. You are loved. It's not as bad as you think it is. God loves you. People love you. You are lovable. Because for me, I became unlovable in that moment. God can't love you, but he can love everybody else. What does that say about you? If Jesus loved everybody except for you, are you lovable? Can't be. Must not be. Right? So I'd say you are loved. I would just tell him, you are lovable. And do what feels right, but don't worry. Don't worry about getting it wrong.
Don't worry about getting it wrong.
Yeah. Make mistakes. Make as many mistakes as you can, but learn from them. Mm-hmm. Don't make the same mistake twice. But don't worry about getting it wrong. And definitely don't worry about getting it right either. Just do your best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. A person's relationship to failure really determines the outcome of their life in a lot of ways. It's something I have been exploring a little bit, but really would love to go deep into another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We met each other virtually in Zoom during a self-expression leadership course, SELP with Landmark Worldwide. And during that course, we had to come up with a community project to make an impact. And my community project was to start a nonprofit, and it's called Who Do You Know? And our mission is to inspire imagination and dreaming again in people from all walks of life by making connections.
Cool.
And we make connections in 3 different pillars. So we connect people on someone you want to meet that's living. We can't make somebody come back from the dead for you to meet. And then an experience you want to have and a place that you want to go.
Cool.
So I'm going to ask you those 3 questions.
Oh, boy. Woo!
Here we go. Who's a person that Jesse would love to meet?
Can I give you 2?
1.
1? Crap.
Okay, give me 2.
Okay. Because it's literally a tie. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Either one. Used to be Elon Musk, currently is Joe Rogan, but like you got to honor that too. So like, what is it? Just depends on who I'm going to have more time with. If I only get 15 minutes with Elon Musk, if I get an hour with Joe, I'm taking Joe. If I get equal time, I'm probably going to go with Elon.
So what is it about those 2 men?
Elon Musk has done more has accomplished more than most humans could ever hope to in the same 24-hour time span and 40-something years of life.
He didn't have more hours in his day
Pretty sure.
than me or you?
He might have different dimensions he uses to store his hours in, but no, same as us.
What about Joe Rogan?
I love that dude. Love Joe Rogan. He thinks the way I think. Like listening to his podcast is like hear myself talk sometimes. If I was a drinker and a stoner, for sure.
Okay. You don't do that stuff.
No, I don't. Not at all.
All right. So what's an experience you want to have?
I would like to travel to I would like to travel to a true third world country and see what abject poverty really looks like war-torn central Cambodia or something like that.
And what would you do with that experience? Like, what is the...
Well, I tried not to get killed while I was there. I just feel like if you see that and witness it firsthand, that maybe you appreciate a lot more what you've got.
Okay.
And realize that you could have been born, just as easily been born.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
You know.
I've thought about that too quite a bit is,
Yeah.
why am I placed here in Dallas, Texas, right, with the family that I have and the life experiences, right, and this, and not, like you say, in a third world country.
Yeah. Because most people on this planet aren't here.
Yeah.
350 million, 7.5 billion.
Yeah. All right, so where's a place you want to go?
Italy.
I know you just say, okay, Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. What part? Does it matter?
The pretty parts with the good
The
food.
pretty part and the good food. All right. That's pretty much all over.
Yeah, I would love to go to Italy and just, but like to like live there and just experience like the Mediterranean life, I think would be really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you have anything to share with the audience as a closing thought as we wrap up this this episode? If not, it's okay.
Bringing conscious awareness to everything that you do is probably the greatest way to do what you want to do.
Okay.
And be good to yourself, but don't spoil yourself. And I had something else I was going to say. Oh yeah. Strive to be the best version of yourself, humanly possible, and help others do the same.
Yeah. Great way to wrap it up. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, and thank you all for tuning in. This wraps up another episode of the Matt Hilton Show. Tune in next week as we have another inspiring person with a fascinating story or a fascinating person with an inspiring story. We'll see you later. Thank you.
If you'd like to contact Matt or know a fascinating person with an inspiring story that would make a great guest, reach out to the show at themattHiltonshow@gmail.com.